and expressing opinions isn't election interference. Even when people express views outside your own country, and even when those people are very influential. And trust me, I say this with all humor, if American democracy can survive 10 years of Greta Thunberg scolding, you guys can survive a few months of Elon Musk. But what no democracy, American, German, or European, will survive is telling millions of voters that their thoughts and concerns, their aspirations, their pleas for relief are invalid or unworthy of even being considered.
Yes, J.D. Vance shocked the establishment when he accused them of hiding behind defamation campaigns simply because someone might express an alternative viewpoint or even win an election. Vance is alluding to the massive AFD success. What I saw today, I was amazed. This is the kind of VP we want to see. Someone who speak and people are like, "Hmm, that is it. Not like what we saw. Now going into what happened today, they were extremely not happy with what JD Evans did here. I'm going to show you everything so you can see exactly what is going on. When you take a look at this, German defense ministers, a member of the left-wing SPD party, react to JD Vance's speech. This is not acceptable. The man was not happy.
I look to Brussels, where EU commissars warn citizens that they intend to shut down social media during times of civil unrest the moment they spot what they've judged to be, quote, hateful content. Or to this very country, where police have carried out raids against citizens suspected of posting anti-feminist comments online as part of, quote, combating misogyny on the internet, a day of action. I look to Sweden, where 2 weeks ago the government convicted a Christian activist for participating in Koran burnings that resulted in his friend's murder. And as the judge in his case chillingly noted, Sweden's laws to supposedly protect free expression do not, in fact, grant, and I'm quoting, a free pass to do or say anything without risking offending the group that holds that belief. And perhaps most concerningly, I look to our very dear friends, the United Kingdom, where the backslide away from conscience rights has placed the basic liberties of religious Britons in particular in the crosshairs. A little over 2 years ago, the British government charged Adam Smith Connor, a 51-year-old physiotherapist and an Army veteran, with the heinous crime of standing 50 meters from an abortion clinic and silently praying for 3 minutes. Not obstructing anyone, not interacting with anyone, just silently praying on his own. And after British law enforcement spotted him and demanded to know what he was praying for, Adam replied simply, it was on behalf of the unborn son he and his former girlfriend had aborted years before. Now, the officers were not moved. Adam was found guilty of breaking the government's new buffer zones law, which criminalizes silent prayer and other actions that could influence a person's decision within 200 meters of an abortion facility. He was sentenced to pay thousands of pounds in legal costs to the prosecution. Now, I wish I could say that this was a fluke, a one-off crazy example of a badly written law being enacted against a single person, but no. This last October, just a few months ago, the Scottish government began distributing letters to citizens whose houses lay within so-called safe access zones, warning them that even private prayer within their own homes may amount to breaking the law. Naturally, the government urged readers to report any fellow citizens suspected guilty of thought crime. In Britain and across Europe, free speech, I fear, is in retreat.
Yes, when you take a look at this, left-wing German defense minister Boris goes after JD Vance for blasting the EU in his speech. This is not acceptable. The clapping seals in Europe are upset that an American vice president just shoved the uncomfortable truth right in their faces. Do better, Europe.
This is why I cannot just ignore what we heard before. I cannot not comment on the speech we heard by the US Vice President. We fight for your right to be against us. That is the motto, one of the mottos of the Bundeswehr, and it stands for our democracy. This democracy that was just called into question by the US Vice President, and not just the German democracy, but Europe as a whole. He spoke of the annulment of democracy, and if I understood him correctly, he compares the condition of Europe with the condition that prevails in some authoritarian regimes. Ladies and gentlemen, this is not acceptable. This is not acceptable. This is not the Europe, not the democracy where I live and where I conduct my election campaign right now. And this is not the democracy that I witness every day in our parliament. In our democracy, every opinion has a voice. And it makes it possible for parties that are partly extremist, such as the AfD, and they can campaign just as any other party. This is democracy. And if the Vice President had the opportunity to switch on his TV set when he arrived yesterday, he would have seen one of those candidates in primetime TV. By the way, we even admit media that spread Russian propaganda, and the representatives of the federal government answer their questions. Nobody is excluded. But democracy does not mean that a vociferous minority will automatically be right.
Yes, at the end of the day, you realize what these people focus on is selective speech. They struggle to talk about free speech, and they are not even ashamed to be pronouncing this. Look at this person that is saying it's unacceptable. People can't express their opinions because they're scared that this might be the truth or something that might cause an election. It is crazy. Allow people to express themselves. That is the simple truth. What J.D. Vance outlined here, these are things happening every single day. And some of these people will not accept. We are seeing it. There is a case he quoted there about somebody prays silently and get. I did the video about this, so I understand what he is saying here. We saw that it went viral on social media. A lot is going on, and they don't allow people to talk. You do that on social media, maybe you can be arrested. I've seen people. So you realize the way these people think it, and now this issue of Elon Musk, he is their primary target every single day. This one said they can't allow Elon Musk and TikTok to destroy their countries. These people don't believe in free speech. At the same time, they pretend like they do. I was impressed watching J.D. Evans speaking like this. It gives some different vibes. You feel different, when you listen to this compared to when Kamala Harris was vice president. I've not seen a single virus, segment where she had or gave a speech and people applauded. I was not seeing that power, like it was not there. She was going into events like this every time, but we didn't even know. This is the first time I'm seeing Jada Evans doing this. And look at social media, you see this everywhere. That should tell you something.
Elon Musk makes $8 million a day on government contracts. $8 million a day. At what point does Is there a limit? Is there a, okay, I have enough money now, I don't have to, like, my brain's broken. Because of it, my brain is broken.
I have mentors in the Reagan administration who came in looking for these things, and those people were not technical. And so when they went to the bureaucracy and they asked questions, there's so many ways of obscuring and blocking and deterring. And so what Elon did is he got root access, and he went to the tech systems themselves. No one has done this in ever. Like,
the aspiration here is a reduction in regulation and reduction in government spending, such that the economy is able to grow.
How do you feel like it's been going, doing the show through the Trump era?
I think it has been terrible and fun. I think I get a lot of enjoyment.
Speaking, I think most Americans are going to have this sense that, you know, Trump is telling the truth.
So White House Press Secretary Caroline Leavitt announced that the Associated Press has been banned from the Oval Office.
Press secretary. And nobody has the right to go into the Oval Office and ask the President of the United States questions. That's an invitation that is given.
Are Black Africans. Yet only 4% of those Black Africans own the land.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Thank you guys for always being there sharing out my videos. I don't want to make it long. If you see clips behind here, this is for the algorithm. Someone asked me, is it helping your channel? Yes, it is helping the channel. If it was not helping, I would not put.
Mind-boggling that he would be shutting down PEPFAR.
A bully and a thug who's the president of the United States, U.S., it's everywhere.
There is a lot of waste, fraud, and abuse within a system.
Audits. A chance to see what happens when you take a business approach to the government in the White House. We're seeing right now with this whole U.S. aid thing, where they're uncovering massive amounts of corruption.
And also, I got to say, don't you agree? I totally agree.
Essential.
Early on, immediately.
She's probably been put in there because, according to Donald Trump, she's a 10.
To her.
No. The EU does not treat the U.S. fairly on trade, and that he has some big complaints. Is that true?
Right? And it doesn't mean that we should sit and pretend that it's suddenly okay, that this new presidency is just going to keep on keeping on. That is not the case. And
awful things have happened. So over. And sparks move things. And it doesn't matter how much water you have.
Future president and his gag
are somebody in policy.
The city of the Pacific Palisades is burning. And, you know, I flew here last night. I was on a plane.
You getting water to areas that need...
He's been trained his whole life to do.
What do we do?
Right now you're looking straight, remember it.
As a country about January.
Yeah, and then I think all our tax dollars probably went for Gavin's hair gel. I don't know.
Jim Jordan.
Josh Green, the governor.
Watch the news or talk.
Now look, I have a lot of...
The Democratic Party has about everything.
The next department that appears to be on the chopping block is the Department of Education. Just earlier today,
the biggest loser on Team Chiefs, literally right next to us was Taylor Swift. And then to the left was Donald Trump. Those are boos.
Well, the Super Bowl is officially under.
I've been shocked by how undemocratic the Democratic Party can be.